I call the City Commission of the City of Pahokee to order at 6:05 p.m. They will stand for the invocation provided by our Vice Mayor, Claire Mervin, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus, God, we come before you today, God, to say thank you for another day. Thank you, oh God, for the sunshine, oh God, through the city of Pahokee. Father God, we want to thank you and praise you, God, for all of our residents, oh God, all of our commission staff, our mayor, oh God. God, we pray, oh God, and we thank you, oh God, that you will lead and guide us through this meeting tonight. God, that you will give us guidance, you give us wisdom, and you will give us understanding. Most of all, God, that you will give us unity, oh God, to be able to work together. And God, we give your name the praise, the honor, and the glory. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Babb,
Present.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Present.
Commissioner Bolden, Commissioner Gonzalez,
Present.
Commissioner Perez,
Present.
Interim City Manager,
Present.
City Attorney,
Here.
City Clerk, present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, staff, and thank each of our audience for being here today to participate in our regular regular meeting of Tuesday, May 10th, 2022. Just like to acknowledge our state senator, Senator Gail Harrer from the state of Florida. Such a pleasure having you with us. And our own County Commissioner, Melissa McKinley. Thank you so much. They will both be presenting a proclamation on behalf of the city of Pahokee for our Centennial. So again, thank you so much for personally being here to do that. Now we'll move to the additions, deletions, and approval of our agenda items. City Manager at this time do have in addition to the city agenda.
We don't have anything other than the change orders. We just have the two that we got in before we came here. So, none, sir.
Okay, I would like to add our Centennial report, committee report. If we can allow that to happen, that'd be great. Entertain a motion for the acceptance of that.
Second.
What?
And the Centennial committee report.
Who's second?
Mayor Babb, did someone make a motion maybe? Mayor Babb, I move to add the Centennial report.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Bolden and properly second by Commissioner Gonzalez to add the Centennial Committee report to our agenda, and that will go under our new business. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Bolden,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Mayor Babb.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Now we'll move into the first item on our agenda would be proclamations commemorating the Pahokee 100th anniversary. And the first proclamation will be presented by our very own County Commissioner McKinley.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the Commission. Make sure this is on? Yes, it is on. It has been so long since I was able to attend an in-person meeting with you. It's good to see everybody in person. Out of habit, I went to City Hall, so my apologies for the grand entrance that I made today. But it is an honor to be here. We worked very hard, Senator Harrell and I, to make sure that we honored this important recognition by appearing together, given its importance. 100 years, I hope to be around for 100 years. Some people might disagree with me on that, but this is a beautiful secret in Palm Beach County. It's a gorgeous city right on the lake, and I've been very proud to represent it for the last 7 years. So without further ado, on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, today we are here recognizing the 100th anniversary of the incorporation of the city of Pahokee. Whereas first known as East Beach and then Ridgeway Beach, Pahokee takes its name from the Seminole word for the Everglades, meaning grassy waters. And whereas the town was incorporated in 1922 and Homer Vivian served as its first mayor. Whereas construction of the Pahokee High School was underway when the 1928 hurricane struck. More than 500 citizens sought shelter in the school and were safely housed. The Pahokee High School was entered into the National Register of Historic Places. And whereas Pahokee is a small city primarily known for its abundance of outdoor recreation opportunities and rural small-town charm, Pahokee is the only city with direct access to the lake, which makes it a favorite fishing spot. And whereas it is also known as the home for NFL players Rydell Anthony, Anquan Bolden, Go Knowles, and Ricky Jackson, country music legend Mel Tillis, and Damon Lazar Weaver, who at age 11 interviewed President Barack Obama, becoming the youngest person to interview a sitting president of the United States. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in February, it took us a while to get here, that the board hereby recognizes the 100th anniversary of the incorporation of Pahokee. Be it further proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, that this proclamation is duly sealed, ribboned, and executed by the members of the board. The foregoing proclamation was sponsored by me, and upon unanimous consent of the board, the mayor claimed the proclamation duly enacted. Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, and members of the commission, like I said earlier, it truly has been an honor to represent the Glades region, all 3 cities in the Glades region for the last 7.5 years. I'm coming into my last 6 months in office, and I promise you that the County Commission remains committed to working not only with our city partners here in Pahokee and our federal partners in Washington, but also our members of the legislature to do everything we can to continue to lift up the Glades communities and give it the attention and the help with infrastructure and housing and economic development that it deserves. So with that, thank you so much for allowing me to be with you this evening.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. So the commission, if you would join me down so we can accept the proclamation from the Palm Beach County.
Mr. Mayor, may I suggest that you allow the senator to do hers and we can do one photo together?
Okay, that would be wonderful.
Might make it a little easier on your team.
Next, we'll have our state senator, Senator Gail Harris.
Thank you all so very much for this honor to be here today to present this proclamation on behalf of the Florida Senate. And the Florida Senate so appreciates this wonderful city in the Glades. And I know I am so excited and so pleased to represent you and to acknowledge 100 years. As Commissioner McKinley stated, I hope to be around to make 100, but there may be a few others who would disagree with that one as well.
I'll be here.
But I have to say that this is such an honor, and really, when you think about what Pahokee has accomplished, and listening to the proclamation, mine is very, very similar words, so I won't repeat that very beginning of it because it is exactly the same. We really worked very closely together, and the state wants to acknowledge the significance of Pahokee. You are the gateway to Lake Okeechobee, the largest lake in this country. You are really the premier fishing spot for this entire region. And hopefully we'll have a very good functioning marina so we can come out here and fish very regularly. And it's a wonderful spot, as well as being truly the best agricultural land that we have in the state of Florida is right here in this region, in the Glades. And you are the vegetable garden of the East. And when you think about the sugar you produce, all the beautiful vegetables and things that you produce, we are so proud of you in Pahokee. And I want to thank you as your public officials for what you're doing to really represent this area and make the benefit of the people of this area your priority. So this is a proclamation to recognize the 100th anniversary of the incorporation of the city of Pahokee. And the whereases are all the same, so I won't repeat them. I know you have a long agenda, but I do want to write to say that I, Senator Gail Harrell, on behalf of the Florida Senate District 25, do hereby recognize the 100th anniversary of the incorporation of the city of Pahokee. And this is, I have one for each of you to take so that you will have an official remembrance of this, and then one I hope that will be placed here in City Hall, so that you will have this as a momentum of the 100th anniversary and the honor that the state of Florida proclaims upon you, the city of Pahokee. So thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
At this time, if the commission would join me down on the floor. County Commissioner Melissa McKinley, Senator Gail Harrell, on behalf of the Pahokee City Commission, Vice Mayor Clara Mervin, Commissioner Derek Bolden, Commissioner Sarah Perez, Commissioner Johnny Gonzalez, along with our city manager Rodney Lucas and our entire city staff and our entire residents of the city of Pahokee. I am honored to accept this proclamation on behalf of the city of Pahokee. I thank both of y'all so much for all that you have done over the years to help move Pahokee forward. There was many that felt that Pahokee wouldn't survive 100 years, but we are surviving and we are moving forward. And it's only because of the work that you all have helped us move it forward. So we want to thank you. Senator Harrell sponsored both of our legislative priorities at the state capitol this past year. And Commissioner McKinley, we can't say enough about the work and effort that she has put in to help Pahokee move so much further than it would have without her assistance. So again, as a mayor of this great city, it is my honor to accept both these proclamations, and we will prominently place them in City Hall. Thank you so much. It's very rare when you can have two strong supporters of your city attend our city commission meeting personally to present a outstanding proclamation to the city. And I'm so thrilled as a mayor and as well as our entire city commission that you took the time to come here personally and present this. Thank you. Now, at this time, we'll move to our citizen comment, public service announcement. All items on the agenda, 3 minutes, please. City clerk, at this time, do we have any public service or citizen comments card completed?
Yes, sir. Mr. Bernard Mervin.
My name is Thomas Bernard Mervin. I live at 357 Kismet Avenue, Pahokee, Florida. I want to say that I'm glad that the senator was all here, but I really realized that there is a healing process taking place right now in Pahokee. This place is going to move forward. It's better things are coming to Pahokee. I was at the Cinco de Mayo, and that's the first time in Pahokee history as I know of. And I went there and I enjoyed it. I mean, it was so great. I mean, everybody worked together. I mean, the people had some of the great food, because I hadn't eaten Spanish food in a while. I just went straight to the first vendor, and they treated me real nice. And like I said, everybody there was on one accord. And like I said, there is a blessing coming in this city. This city, people gonna watch us because the integrity of this board is gonna make this city move forward. And so I'm so proud of it, and I'm proud of the board, everybody that's on the board. I'm proud because it was just too much confusion at first. Now there are peace with everybody. Hispanics, there's no division between Hispanics and blacks, because we grew up together here, and there's never been that. But the Cinco de Mayo, I'm looking forward. You see this class of 77? The next event that coming up, it's a class event with all the classes.
Juneteenth first.
June 2, and all the classes. And I want class of 7. I represent class of 77, but we had the best class in Pahokee. So me, Ricky Jackson, like I said, a lot of others that came out, but I'm representing because I know for a fact, and then I'm gonna sit down, that I see the prosperity. I see that the people see that we are not ignorant, that we have intelligence, and that the world was watching us. A Hispanic guy came to my wife. We was at a place getting a tie fixed. He say, "Hey, Miss Mervin." Tasha looked at him. He say, "Yeah, Miss Mervin, I know you." He said, "Listen, at the city council meeting, y'all had y'all meeting." He said, we got a big screen TV, and all of us get in front of the TV, and we be watching the city council meeting." She said, because really it looked like a soap opera, because people were seeing that things wasn't together as it was. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any additional comments, Carl, completed, City Clerk?
Miss Annie Ifield.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Annie Eiffel with Healthier Glaze, 491 East Main Street, Pahokee, Florida. I bring you greetings. I wanted to first of all say thank you for the proclamation that you gave me at the last meeting to acknowledge Mental Health Awareness Month. I wanted to share with you today that we're doing a campaign where we're distributing yard signs in all 3 cities, Belle Glade, South Bay, and Pahokee, just bringing awareness to the importance of mental health awareness. And I want to get permission for us to put them in your city. At the entrance on 715, City Hall, and the Marina, and Parks and Rec. So what I'll do is I'll get these to the city, and if it's okay, put these up. Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to share was the city clerk distribute this flyer. So we're doing a couple of activities this year for Get Your Green On. Last week we did a virtual event addressing issues around understanding trauma. And so on next Tuesday at First United Methodist Church, we are hosting a community showcase. A group of residents have been collecting stories over the past year, just getting residents to share their stories about their experiences being residents in the Glades. And so we're going to be doing a 2-part. The first part is going to be this next Tuesday with Pahokee and Canal Point, And then in June, we're gonna do something for South Bay and Belgrade. So I just wanted to extend a personal invitation and invite you guys to come out on, next Tuesday. I would greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's gonna be from 4 to 6 p.m. And I think I got about a couple of them in the back. And, it's already posted on our Healthier Glaze page as well. And with that, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Amy.
much. Thank you.
I also thanks.
Any additional comments, cards, City Clerk?
No, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. And also at this time, I'd just like to recognize Lisa Wilson, Melissa McKinley, assistant in the Glaze area. Thank you so much for being here. Next, we have the approval of minutes. First minutes to be approved is the March 18, 2022 Special City Commission meeting. Next, we have the April 12th, 2022 City Commission meeting and the April 18, 2022 Special City Commission meeting.
Mayor, I move that we will accept the approval of the minutes for March 18th, April 12th, and April 18th special meeting.
A second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Bolden for the acceptance of the March 18, the April 12th, and the April 18 City Commission meetings. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Commissioner Perez?
Yes.
Mayor Bab?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Next, we'll move to our consent agenda item. We don't have any consent agenda items tonight. We're going to move now to our regular agenda. We have an ordinance 2022-02. City Attorney.
Ms. Burnett, you want me to?
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, repealing and replacing Article 2, Section 2-26, entitled City Commission Meeting generally, and 2-29, entitled Order of Business, renumbering and reordering as necessary, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney. At this time, we'll have our city manager just give us a brief explanation of this particular ordinance.
This is the ordinance that's repealing the procedure of how we go about doing the meetings here as far as the commission. And you guys had made amendments to that and have been reviewed at the last meeting, and then you brought it forward for the first reading, sir.
Thank you, City Manager. At this time, I'll open the public hearing on ordinance 2022-02 to allow anyone in the public to speak on this ordinance if they so choose to do. Hearing no comments, I'll now close the public hearing. City Commission, having had the ordinance properly read into our minutes by our city attorney and properly explained by our city manager, what is your pleasure?
I have a question.
We're going to take a motion and a second, and we'll open it up for questions.
Mayor, I move that we will accept ordinance 2022-02 for first reading.
I second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Bolden that we open the discussion and the movement of ordinance 2022-02 on its first reading. Call for question, Commissioner Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. It says that we're gonna start at 6:30 p.m. and end meetings at 9 p.m. I don't see any reason why we should have to stay that late. Can we shorten the hours?
Yeah, that could be amended if it's this choice of the majority of the commission. I'm thinking that 6:30 was put in there because the commission had wanted to restart having town hall meetings and workshops to cover some of the items that we have on our regular agenda. However, we did discuss that we didn't think we was gonna do that every single commission meeting, so I would certainly suggest and recommend that we move back to at least the 6 o'clock time frame on starting our meetings, whether the workshop or commission meeting, and then the regular meeting would be after our workshop is done, which normally don't take no more than 30 minutes. So the end time, that again, that's up for discussion. That's anything that we as a group doesn't agree on, we can always amend it and change it and make some modification to it.
Right, and I also want to know if we can change our workshops on different days. Because, I mean, we're here a long time.
Well, that's part of the reason we put a cutoff time on it to end meeting at a certain time, so we don't be here a long time prior to this ordinance being replaced with another ordinance. We had a cutoff time and the meeting went pretty smoothly and ended on a certain time. When you have a cutoff time, those items that's not taken care of at the current meeting would be the first thing that would be addressed at our following meeting. So, but any comments you have, if you want to put forth any type of motion on any suggestion that you're making, we can do that, and it will be up to the commission as a whole to decide whether or not that would need to be deleted or added to this particular ordinance.
So I can put a motion in to change the
Wait,
hours?
can I have a question?
Yeah, okay.
I think at the last meeting, yeah, we had talked about, and like we said, the workshop won't be every meeting. It's only if something was to come up that need to be workshop. You see what I'm saying? So it's not every meeting anyway. So it's something that come and need to be workshop. But I think 9 o'clock is okay. Don't mean you have to stay till 9, but 9 o'clock is a good cutoff time. But you don't have to stay till 9. If the meeting roll and we ends it, we ends it before 9. But I think 9, if you notice, our meeting does go to mostly 9 o'clock.
Or over.
So, but this is what I'm saying, but we don't let it go over 9. Anything at 9, before the ordinance was repealed before, we cut it off at 9, and then it was on future agenda, whatever was left. You don't have to stay till 9.
So could I put a motion in to change the hour till 8?
You can put the motion
I don't
in,
think we
but
should change it to 8 o'clock. I think we should leave it till 9, and if we end up early, we end up early, but
Yeah.
if not, because then we're gonna be, you know how the discussions get.
and also for your suggestion of possibly moving the date to a separate date from the workshop. The purpose of the workshop is really to have an opportunity to air some of our concerns or questions prior to the regular meeting so that those items are out the way and it won't prolong or delay the meeting from processing smoothly. So at this point, what I'm hearing, they like the idea of having it at 9 or ending at 9 or later than 9, but starting it earlier than what's actually on this particular ordinance, which would be 6 o'clock versus 6:30. And that may have been a typo, I'm not sure, but we definitely need to and probably would be able to correct that.
Ms. Bernadette?
Yes, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Yes, so at the last meeting, I think what you all were saying was having it at 6:30 would allow for you to have a workshop if you wanted to at 6. But your meeting with, this doesn't address workshops at all. You can schedule your workshops as you like, based on, what's going on, what issues are to be presented to the commission. However, if you started at 6:30, you all were saying in the last meeting, that would allow you to have your workshop at 6, which wouldn't last more than 30 minutes, I think is what was said by someone. So that's the reason why the 6:30 time was placed here. I think that was something that was moved, a few months ago back to 6 o'clock, but then there was, because of the discussion about the workshop, it was discussed by you all that you wanted it 6:30, so that's why the language was put in here.
Yeah. That may have been one commissioner, I'm not sure, I don't recall, but I think the majority felt that the 6 o'clock start time for the commission meeting would be fine and wouldn't be an issue. Even if we started, well, we really had a combination of workshop / city commission meeting, both being started at a time of 6:30, I'm gonna say 6 o'clock. But since it's in there at 6:30, if you want to put forth that motion to amend that time to 6.
Mr. Mayor, one last thing.
Mm-hmm.
Your workshop, if you have it at 6, your workshop would need to start at 5:30 because you have a difference between what your workshop is and what the commission meeting is, and so
Sure.
you have to notice it, and it would be noticed for whatever, so your workshop, if you have one, would be 5:30 rather than 6 o'clock. If
Okay.
your meeting starts at 6 o'clock, because you actually have to publicly notice it with whatever the title is going to be for the specific meeting.
Okay. So since this is not directly addressing workshop, the motion still could be on the floor to amend this ordinance to reflect a 6 o'clock start time for our regular city commission meetings. And then of course, in the future, when we do have workshop, we would have them at 5:30 to allow us time enough to discuss whatever we want to discuss, and then move to our regular commission meeting, which would start at 6.
Okay, can I put a motion in to change the hour to 6 o'clock?
Yes. That's your motion?
Yes, sir.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved by Commissioner Gonzalez and properly second by Commissioner Perez that we amend this ordinance to change the start time from 6:30 as originally placed to 6 o'clock start time for our regular commission meetings. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Commissioner Perez?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Mayor Bab?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote.
I have a question. We had a motion and a second, and then we just did another motion and a second. I thought you couldn't put another motion because we already had one open.
There wasn't a motion. The motion originally, we do have a motion. This just was an amendment to start the start time, change that from 6:30 to 6 o'clock. The actual resolution, we have, the ordinance, we haven't voted on that as a whole yet. The amendment is just to change the time.
I got questions on the
Sure.
ordinance.
Right, correct.
So can I ask my question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. On the city commission general, number 2D, I wanna know what they mean by that. Individually act without the support of the city commission. On the ground rules for decorum regarding members of the city commission.
Yeah, that simply means that one or single commission can't act on behalf of the city commission without the commission consent or approval. Even I, as a mayor, can't authorize or direct or obligate the city for anything outside of having the commission as a whole consent to it and agree with it. So that's just saying, as a single commissioner yourself, you can't go out and engage in any type of conversation that would lead anyone to believe that you personally represent this entire city body as an individual. You can't do that. You just have to get permission as a whole to be authorized to say that you're representing the city. Now, you can make a comment saying this is just my personal belief or my personal opinion, I can bring it before our commission and have them decide on whether or not we're gonna move forward or not. But that's all that basically trying to clear up, that each individual on their own can't do that.
So if I have an idea or an event or anything that I wanted to for the city of Pahokee, I cannot do it unless everybody agrees that I could do it?
Yes, as a representation of the city body as a whole, yes, you couldn't promote that function as a commissioner event unless you get the consent of the majority of the commission.
Okay. It says procedures and scope, number 1. It says the city of Pahokee City Commission is permitted by Florida law to determine its own rules of procedure. Unless otherwise set forth herein, all municipal meetings shall be conducted in accordance with the procedural requirements established by Robert's Rules of Order. Said rules of order being incorporated into this section by reference. But I didn't see that in here.
You didn't see what?
The reference to the Robert's Rules of Order in reference to what we're voting on.
I don't think she included the entire Robert Rules of Order in there, but she would
Mr.
address
Mayor?
that. Yes, ma'am.
All it means is that you don't have to actually include the whole Robert's Rules of Order. It means that by reference, it's incorporated into this section, meaning you all will abide by Robert's Rules of Order, which most cities do. So it's just, you don't need to attach the whole Robert's Rules of Order, which is a voluminous, document. You just, by reference, we're saying that's what we're committed to procedurally complying with.
Okay, the city commission, the city manager, the city clerk, and the public should be governed by the terms, okay, that's that. Then you have on agenda, see agenda. It says, unless otherwise set forth herein, city commissioners shall agree by majority. Vote on items to be placed on a commission agenda. Decisions regarding the placement of an agenda item shall be made by the commission no later than the meeting immediately preceding the placement of the item to be discussed and voted upon. Okay? So in this case, it says a portion of each regular commission agenda should be set aside for discussion for future agenda items. So this needs the majority. So that means if I want to place something on the agenda item, but I don't have the majority, I won't be able to put any agenda items. I won't be able to add any agenda items. So pretty much Commissioner Gonzalez and myself won't be doing nothing for the next 3 years.
No, I doubt that would be the case.
That would be the case, I
If your
guarantee.
ideal that you won't discuss, if the majority feel that's something that they would like have added on there, that's fine, and it would be added on. I don't think anyone gonna stop progress or stop things from happening if they agree with it. It's the fact where things that may be on there that you're requesting, no one may be in agreement with it, and it don't need to be on the item if that's not the case. It just help us eliminate things that, as a whole, we feel we shouldn't be entertaining at that particular time. I mean, we've done that before. It helped really move our meeting along, and it also allowed, if there's anything of a controversial nature that maybe the commission as a whole need to have some research done, it'll give them time enough to look at that item to properly decide whether or not that's something they can support or not. But we all have that same responsibility to place forth an item we would like to have added to the agenda, so none of us is exempt from that procedure. I think it's a great way of
It all
conducting our
depends
business.
on the votes that you have.
Well, the majority rule is a democratic process, and I mean, that's the way democracy works. It works by a majority rule, but you want to be fair and impartial that if you bring forth an idea, I don't think anybody up here that is an idea that's gonna help benefit the city would be against it. I just don't believe that. Could be, but I don't think so.
And Mayor Bab, you have to remember, that we're here not individually. We're here for the city of Pahokee. So if an idea, it don't matter who it comes from, if it's gonna benefit the city of Pahokee, I don't think no one here is gonna vote it down if it benefits the people of Pahokee.
Yeah, like the past year, but I'll keep going. The city manager and the city attorney may agenda an item for discussion and vote without commission consideration if the item involves the regular business and administration for smooth operations of the city. So here we go. We can't, but you and the city manager could put an agenda anytime without anybody agreeing or not.
When you say you, you're referring to the city attorney, not the city
The
mayor.
city manager and the city attorney.
Right. And
Yeah.
again, the agenda is put together basically by the city manager. If for the purpose of having item placed on that is necessary to be discussed and voted upon to move action forward. He can't do it on his own, certain things that we have to do and need to do. So that's why individually, we're not just adding on an agenda item without a majority vote. Our commission meeting is really designed to conduct city business that's necessary to be voted upon by a majority to be able to allow the city manager to be able to conduct whatever operations he needs to conduct on behalf of the city. So that's just been standard everywhere in most places, but again, these agendas and these items can be changed or redirected based on a majority vote of the city commission. You know, even the order of business, although we do
It says without commission consideration, so how can we do anything about it?
No, if we don't agree with that, which I think again, the majority have to agree that that's the way we would like for that to be done. We did it in the past. I thought it was a great ordinance. It helped guide us and direct us and move our meeting forward in an organized and orderly manner. So any of these items can be taken out, and that's why we're having these discussions about what we feel need to be in here and don't need to be in here. But again, it's gonna be up to the majority. Your opinion right now is saying that you don't like that provision in there. If that's a motion you want to put forth, if the majority say or feel that it needs to be moved, then it'll be moved. Yes, ma'am?
Yes, before you vote is taken, let me just explain. That is the way it's done everywhere. The city manager is always bringing, that's how you get items on your agenda at every meeting, because he knows what's happening, he knows what grants, he knows what contracts are coming up, he knows what these issues are. Very rarely will you get something from me, but it will be something that needs to come up from a legal standpoint. So that's what happens in all cities, that the manager has the latitude to put items on the agenda that are going to be in the best interest of the city for a forward movement of the city. I mean, it's not anything unique. It's what you do anyway. It's what you do right now.
Yeah.
It's what you've done always, right? So, and it's what all cities do. So it's not anything tricky or, to deceive or anything like that. It's the way government works for purposes of having your agendas brought before you.
Okay, we're gonna keep going. Duties and responsibility of the mayor. The mayor or presiding officer at any regular or special meeting of the city commission shall only introduce agenda items by the agenda item number and a brief title as listed on the agenda with no further explanation or comment. Thereafter, the mayor or presiding officer may call on the city manager, and the city manager or his or her designee shall furnish a brief explanation of the item under consideration. The item shall then be open for public hearing and applicable.
And we're basically doing that now. That's the way we've been operating.
Yeah, but we're reading the whole, agenda item and explaining it.
No, it's saying exactly what we're doing now. Basically, I would say on the agenda, the particular item is a resolution or ordinance. I have our city attorney read it. I always then allow our city manager to give a brief explanation of that particular item, and then we would vote on it or discuss it. But that's what we're basically doing now. It's nothing different from what we're doing now.
Okay, then go to number 2. Any comments or question by the attending public should be directed to the mayor or presiding officer. Members of the city commission shall direct all comments and questions on the subject matter being discussed to the mayor or presiding officer only, and shall not engage in cross-conversation with other members of the public, which I agree, or direct any questions to other members of the city commission, I don't agree, or to the public. The mayor or presiding officer should not unreasonably withhold or delay recognition of any member of the city commission desiring to speak. The mayor or presiding officer shall recognize other members of the city commission in rotation and not call on any member a second and subsequent time until such time as all members of the city commission shall have had an opportunity to speak. I agree on that. Then I have number 4. The mayor or presiding officer should not use his or her power as chair to dominate debate or discussion. Nor shall the mayor or presiding officer unreasonably cut short or prolong any debate, discussion, or taking of a vote, which we've had that problem. Number 7, the mayor or presiding officer, in consultation with the city attorney, shall make rulings on parliamentary procedures. At least 3 votes of members of the city commission is required to overrule the mayor or presiding officers on ruling or preliminary procedure. Okay? Number 8, it says the mayor or presiding officer may, during city commission proceedings, request that the city commission move on to the next item on the meeting agenda by voting or otherwise. I agree that should be only done by a vote. And what I wanted to add up here on the procedures and scope, number C, on the agenda, it should be unless, no, that's not it. Wait. That's not it. Okay. Discussion on Okay, I think this one sounds a little contradictory, but members of the city commission shall not interrupt anyone who has the floor unless it is to call the meeting to order, or as otherwise provided in this section. If a member of the city commission desires to direct questions to another member of the city commission or the public, the question shall be directed to the mayor or presiding officer, who in turn will recognize the individual who wishes to answer the specific question. There's a part that says that we're not to engage with the public or with any other commission, but here it says that we can, but we have to ask you for permission.
I'm the chair of the meeting. That's just an orderly procedure where we don't just have out of control meeting, everybody cross asking each other questions. You need, even a commissioner should raise their hands or get the mayor's attention to ask a question. That's your standard procedure. Again, if you look over the last streaming of our meetings and seeing how we operated, we had no organized procedure because this particular ordinance was repealed by the previous majority commission. So it's just to bring order. Is some things on there you may not agree with? It's okay. If some things on there I don't totally agree with, but I think the document as a whole is a great document, and it has been proven that it would help us have organized, orderly meetings that we can get in and out in a good fashion.
Okay, citizens' rights, letter H. All remarks should be addressed to the commission as a body and not any member thereof. No person other than the members of the commission and person having the floor shall be permitted to enter into any discussion, either directly or through the members of the commission. When requested by any member of the commission, the city manager, city attorney, as well as staff members may enter into any discussion. No question shall be asked the commissioner except through the presiding officer. The city manager and the city attorney may ask the chair for permission to speak at any time. Questions regarding day-to-day operations should be directed to the city manager for an answer at a later time. Personal and slanderous remark. Any person, and we should add, of the public, any person in the public or of the public making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks, who shall become boisterous while addressing the commission may be requested to leave the meeting and may be forthwith by the presiding officer, bear from further audience before the commission at a meeting from which ejected. We should add from the public.
Okay. So what would be your motion here?
On the personal and slanderous remark, it should be any person from the public making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks.
And what's the difference?
Well, it doesn't specify who, it just says any person.
I think that should include us as well. Any person.
That's the part, including us.
That's different, right?
Can I say something?
Yes.
I'll say this. I think that this is just simply an attempt to restore the order and decorum to our commission meetings. Excuse me. I really think it's just that simple.
I'm not done yet.
Okay, she can. No, let her finish.
There's no Jesus. I'm going through it, I don't understand it. This is an ordinance and I want to read it. So if you don't want to hear it, you could step outside till we're done. Under section 2, order of business, where's the commissioner's comments?
Commissioner comments?
I don't see it anywhere.
It would definitely, it would be on there. I don't know if it's an oversight, but
Mr. Mayor?
yes, ma'am.
Q.
Yes, the commissioner comments would be for the good of the order. So, in other words, this one restores a vote that you all took a few meetings ago where you wanted to put the mayor's report back on the agenda. There was no report previously of and nothing stops the commission comments. So you all would be making your comments for the good of the order. So, field announcements, community events, those kind of things. It's not for agenda. It's not for items that are not agenda. That was the point of reinstituting or reinstating the future agenda items. part of it. So this is exactly the process that you followed for over 2 years, and I think it was abolished just shortly after the last two commissioners came on. But it's the same process, and it worked very well. And all of the commissioners were able to comment at the end of the meeting. It just wasn't a specific report like the mayor would have a report.
Okay, you have section 6 on clerk designated custodian duties. It says all public records received by the city clerk shall have placed thereon an appropriate designation as to the time and date received, duplicates and all that. I wanna know how long do we have to comply with those, public requests? What's the term to comply?
Well, through the mayor, generally speaking, there's a public record, the time for compliance is a reasonable time under the law. And if, for instance, if you have something that's handy right away, you would produce it right away. If you have something that, the city clerk is the person who would be generally handling those issues. And I think she does it, pursuant to a process, and she gives public records based on the process and trying to do so within a reasonable period of time, depending on the item that's being considered. So, a reasonable time is not defined in Florida law. It's one of those things when you know it, when you see it sort of thing, but I do believe, and the clerk can probably tell you more about her process, but I do believe that the city always acts in good faith when it comes to trying to produce public records within a reasonable time.
Okay, so now we're coming to the public hearings part.
Ms. Commissioner Perez, at this time, what I would like to do as chair, allow other commissions to ask questions. I don't want any one individual to dominate the question portion. I think it's important because it is an ordinance that you are allowed to ask your questions, but it should be in a manner where the question is so important that it would change your opinion or your mind whether or not you're in favor or against this ordinance. It's said it asks
This
every,
part is
but
very
I'm saying
important.
it's not here to ask every single question and get that out to way. I have to share and allow others to address their concerns. We'll be here, you can almost call it filibustering. We'll be here all night just answering your concerns. Again, I have some concerns, I think we each do, but it needs to be limited to those that are gonna really affect your opinion or your vote on a certain
Well,
issue.
this one definitely is
Well, I'll allow
gonna,
you to do that one, then we'll have to open it up to others to ask their questions. And then we're always able to come back to you if time permit, but we want to move this process on. And again, this is the first reading. You will have opportunity to confer with the city manager or the city attorney at any point to get some other additional questions answered on you.
okay, this is section 10. Indemnification of municipal officers for losses and expenses incurred. Defense of litigation instituted against official for actions in discharging municipal duties. Definition, official shall mean the mayor, every city commissioner, officer, agent, or employee of the city, whether elected, appointed, or employed, with or without compensation. Indemnification should include the payment of all expenses and losses, including reasonable counsel fees, paid, incurred, or imposed upon an official as a result of any litigation or proceeding. I don't know if it's while acting on behalf of the city. Expense shall include any monies paid by an official and incurred in the defense or settlement of any litigation or proceedings, including but not limited to legal fees, cost of litigation, and the amount of any settlement, judgment, or verdict. It should be as long as they're not guilty and they're acting on behalf of the city. Indemnification. Whenever in the performance of or in connection with the performance of official duties in behalf of the city, an official has been involved or shall hereafter be involved in a dispute, proceeding, or litigation, either in representative or individual capacity, with or without the city as a co-party in the matter, the city shall aid and assist said official, and exonerate, indemnify, and hold harmless said official from and against any and all expenses, liabilities, claims, demands, proceedings, damages, losses, charges, advances, disbursements, payments, expense, costs, including reasonable counsel fees following approval of commission, award settlements, judgments, decrees, and mandates, paid, incurred by, or imposed upon said official in all disputes, proceeding, trials, and appeals, by reason of said official being or having been a city official, even though he is no longer an official at the time the expenses are incurred or the claims are made against him. The protection herein guaranteed shall exist during and after the term of office or employment for liabilities incurred during the term of office or employment in the person of official capacity. Each official protected hereby shall promptly cooperate in his or her own defense shall, and you got in C, you got grant the city full right of subrogation and the right to recover under any claims, offsets, or counterclaims of the protected official arising out of in connection with the controversy involved in this section, provided that if the protected official shall recover any sums, the city shall deduct all disbursements, costs, and expenses of litigation, including attorney fees, and any awards against the city, and the remainder should belong to the protected official. Okay, if at any time it shall appear that the controversy has no connection with the official duties, the city commission may require an investigation and report by the city manager or city attorney. The city may, for good cause, refuse to proceed with indemnification or defense by use of the following procedure. The official shall be given a written notice at least 20 days before the hearing and a written complaint showing that the controversy has no connection with official duties. The notice should state the particulars of the complaint with enough details so that the person may prepare his defense. At the hearing, which shall be before the city commission, the city and the officials shall produce witness who shall give sworn testimony. At the conclusion of the hearing, the commission shall make its finding of fact and conclusions of the evidence. If the commission shall find that the controversy has no connection with official duties and involves only private or personal matter, then the commission may refuse to proceed with the indemnification defense. Okay, so this is, I think, like we're acting as judges, because they're gonna come and we're gonna decide whether they have a good cause or not.
Yeah, that's when there is a clear question whether or not this was an official duty under your responsibility as a city commission. It giving the commission at least a last opportunity to kind of dispute that and say that, you know, this was actually done under my responsibility. So it's protecting that, and it's trying to clear up a lot of misconception where, and even you have questioned the need for representation by our attorney if we're charged or have a lawsuit against us. When you're acting in your official capacity and in doing your job as a commissioner, you have a right to that representation. Not only the Pahokee City Commission, all elected officials have that same right. But to clear up any misconception, if it's not conducting official business, then I think that should have satisfied you, because that was part of your initial question. Why are we defending someone who is doing wrong? And even the attorney clarified that initially the last time. If you are not acting within your official duties or responsibility, and you do something illegal or unethical or anything outside of those boundaries, the city is not going to represent you and not going to protect you. And that's the point that this ordinance is really trying to get to. But we all have a right, if we're doing our job, because anyone can sue you for any reason, and it may not be a justifiable reason. So I'm not sure what you're concerned with.
Well, Mayor, let's not forget also now, you know, when we had our former attorney, he represented 3 commissioners on something that they did that was outside the law. So this actually protects, which is a good thing in this ordinance. It actually protects you if you're actually doing something of your duty and someone just assumes that you're outside doing something frivolous. This protects you. So I think it's a pretty good ordinance. It's just an ordinance, just an order of your meetings.
But I'm gonna get back to her original question. On that particular section you read, what are you disputing or think need to be changed?
Here's my thing. The way that I'm reading it and the way that I read it the first time and why I didn't want it on there. Okay? The way that I'm reading it, anybody that's either now or have been elected official, an employee, whether you had compensation or not compensation, if you have a lawsuit come against you, then we have to provide counsel, okay? Then you're gonna identify, you're gonna cover and all that. Then after all this, then after all is done, before any hearing, the city at their discretion could decide whether, okay, no, you don't have a good thing, I'm giving you in writing 20 days for you to go get a defense and you know, defend yourself. And the only ones that are gonna be able to decide whether you got a good, you know, you were acting as an official or it's a good cause for us to defend or whatever, it's gonna be this commission.
Okay, that's gonna come in play only if there is a major concern or question whether or not this was something that happened during your official responsibility as a commission. And going back to the one where it
So who's gonna decide that? How?
The commission as a whole can
Mr. Mayor?
decide that.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, City Attorney.
I may be able to clear up,
Okay.
sorry for the interruption, but I may be able to clear it up. Commissioner Perez, it's only if there's a determination for good cause. So the good cause part of it would be the part that you would be able to, you know, if you thought there was good cause and the commission, the people thought there wasn't, then that would be something that would be reviewable. So it's only for if there's a situation after the final determination, the city for good cause refuses to pay. So they actually have to determine that, you know, there's some basis where, let's say you were determined to be at fault or something by a court, and then they find out more information or there's some investigation that's done and good cause would lead them to believe the rest of the commission, for any commissioner, not you necessarily, but for any commissioner. And then there's a procedure that flows from that goes further into making sure that there's a process, that there's due process, and there's notice, and there's an opportunity to be heard, and you have so many days where you can prepare, you can produce witnesses and things like that. These are like extreme circumstances because even though it doesn't, I mean, right now, if you have a city employee or a commissioner or whatever, and somebody's doing their work and they're operating in, you know, in the way that they should be operating, and somebody just decides they're going to sue, you know, they would be protected, but this just really outlines it and makes it clear that, and then I want to just also mention something earlier because you were talking about commissioners who are no longer commissioners. That has to do with commissioners who within the part, their line of duty, so to speak, within the time period that they were operating as an elected official or an employee for the city, and it's still within, let's say the statute of limitations hasn't expired, and somebody comes back and says, what you did 2 years ago was wrong or whatever. But you were operating in your official capacity, you would still be protected, because that's something that you were doing while you were a commissioner. It's not something that you would have left office and then done something, and then now the city is covering you. It's for things only dealing with your work as a commissioner when you're really operating as properly as an elected official or as an employee. So this is, it's not, again, it's what you had before. It's not anything outlandish or out of the way, and it just makes sure, it just codifies that you're protected, you all are protected, and you should be, quite frankly. You don't want to be in a position where somebody just sues and for no good reason, just to harass you, and then you basically are out there trying to hire an attorney and do all of these things yourself. You don't want to be in that position. So this makes it clear that you're entitled to protection under those cases.
Well, let's say in a case that the IG report comes back and something goes to the state attorney. Is the city gonna represent whatever or whoever is on that report?
Well, there's a process that the city could determine that if it's, but for good cause, they can refuse to pay judgment or decree. You don't have that issue, nor have you had it with any IG report or anything like that. But in the event that that were to happen, there is a process that, you would look at, and you can vet that issue and make sure that it's something that was proper and within the confines of what you're trying to protect here.
So before it goes to court, you will make that
both worlds,
decision.
really. It allows you to be protected if you're operating properly, but if you're not, then it allows that protection to be taken away for good cause.
And you would do that prior to?
No, it's basically, you may not have all of the facts prior to. So here, if there's a final determination that there was, that you weren't operating properly, you didn't do what you were supposed to do, you found out, whatever came out as a result of the litigation, or, the city it does have that option to go through a process that would protect the city from having been exposed to liability when you have somebody who was acting improperly. But that's kind of like the mayor said, it would be under those rare occasions. It's here to protect both the city, and the indemnification language is here to protect you all when you're operating in your official capacity and you're operating properly.
So in a case like that, it's up to the city. It's up to the city whether to determine, okay, we're gonna take care of it or not.
I don't know how else to explain it. What I'm trying to communicate is that if the city doesn't take care of it, using your words, it would have to have good cause for refusing to pay. And good cause is a legal standard. So it's not something they can just arbitrarily do. Maybe they do it because people don't like you or something like that. They can't do it for those reasons. It would have to be a good cause legal standard that would be based on the facts.
What my question was, afterwards, if it's deemed that the person did act, wrong, did wrong or whatever, what would the city do? Would you go after any legal fees and anything that you represented, or the city has options to do whatever they want to do?
Afterwards, the city can, then seek to recover damages. It could reduce the protection. It could, those are some of the things that are outlined in this section. So basically, the city, if the city finds out that there has been a problem, the city can, provide for maybe return, or it may do other things. But basically, this would be under those very extreme circumstances, and in order for the city to have even made this determination, it would have had to have happened with good cause.
All right, thank you, City Attorney. As Chair, I'm gonna move this item on and allow other commission at this time if you have any questions before we move. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote on first reading? City Clerk. Roll call.
Vice Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
No.
Mayor Bab.
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed on a majority 4-1 vote. This again is first reading. We'll have a second reading at our next commission meeting. Next, we have our resolution. We have 3 resolutions. The first resolution is Resolution 2022-16, City Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, approving budget amendment number 2 in the amount of $20,000 for fiscal year 2021 through 2022, set forth in Composite Exhibit A, attached hereto, providing for adoption of representations, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney. City Manager, could you give us a brief explanation of Resolution 2022-16?
Yes, sir. I'd like to introduce a new piece here to our process. We have here to the left at the table your new interim finance and HR director, Lynn Latner. She will, I require that when it comes to items of the directors, they present their cases before the commission.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
members of the commission, thank you for giving me this opportunity this evening. Resolution 2022-18 or -16 is for budget amendment number 2. It is a budget amendment of $20,000. There is backup information. I will just briefly go over the summary. With the ongoing Pahokee Centennial Year events and the desire to ensure that those events that have already taken place, as well as any other events that will occur before the end of the fiscal year 2021 through 2022, have adequate support with the attached budget amendments that are recommended. The Centennial Committee has currently collected approximately $25,000 in donations for events related to the Centennial year. However, the original approved budget and the additional approved expenditures, along with purchase orders that have already been approved for the 4th of July fireworks, secured for the annual display as of 4/30/22, brought funding for the events perilously close to $0. By the time the Commission considers this amendment, costs will have been incurred for the Cinco de Mayo event that will most likely have exceeded the vendor revenues and the remaining balance of funds for the Centennial events. Choosing not to impact the cash reserves of the city, and with the city having remained without an ongoing staff finance director for the FY 2021-2022, and this position being filled by a contractor whose fees have been otherwise budgeted in the 4th of July, Back to School Bash, and the Caribbean Heritage Month. The budget impact will be positive with the donations, which will allow that to be budget positive, and will be budget neutral otherwise, as it is a reallocation of funds within the general fund. The staff recommendation is for an approval of this resolution. Now, if you'll notice, I've provided to you a printout. There should have been provided to you a printout of all of the donations that we've received so that you could see that we had $25,000 in donations that have come in. The original donations that were budgeted was $5,000. So with the current budget being brought to $25,000, that is a $20,000 increase. The executive salaries was $80,000. That's being brought down to 0. The promotional activities was originally budgeted at $15,000. The new budget line item is $100,000. That's an increase of $85,000. The 4th of July fireworks was originally budgeted at $10,000. With the cost increase due to import costs from China and the PO that has already been authorized, that has been increased to $25,000, which is a $15,000 increase, which brings that to a $25,000, which leaves a remaining balance of $52,076 for the Cinco de Mayo and the other events to be spent in this fiscal year. Now, that only gets us to the end of September 30. That does not mean that the gala celebration that is, my understanding, planned for the end of the calendar year, which is also part of the Centennial, is expected to be part of that. That would be something that the council would, or the commission would need to consider as part of the next fiscal year budgeting process. But it would allow the Centennial Committee to have additional funding to ensure that these events are celebrated properly in the Centennial year without dipping into the community's cash reserves.
So if you, Commission, if you just look at page 31, where she was talking from the printout, and then on page 32, what I've done is I went in and reproportioned how these events have moved forward. So for the Centennial Gala and Carnival, we got $34,227. 4th of July fireworks, we had budgeted previous, early in the year, or beginning of the year, $25,000. Then you see the additional anticipated expenditures. So Cinco de Mayo, the budget was $8,500. Juneteenth will be $8,500. We're committing an additional for the 4th of July events, another $8,500. For back to school bash, we're doing $14,000. For the fall festival, we're doing $6,500, and then for the Caribbean Heritage Month, $8,500. So that as the committee goes forward, they know what the budget is. And then on top of that, we're still receiving corporate sponsorship. I will be moving forward with assigning corporate sponsorship to Miss Peggy Boulay, Washington. I want us to be more orderly, more efficient, and if there's any questions, I'm open to talking to my commission anytime you guys want to talk.
I have questions. Okay, right here on the donations,
I'm sorry, Commissioner, let's get a motion in a second, then we'll open up for questions, for specific questions.
Mayor, I move that we will accept Resolution 2022-16.
A second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and proper second by Commissioner Bolden for the adoption of the resolution 2022-16. Call for question, Commissioner Perez.
okay. You said that the donations on here, it says $5,000. Is it $5,000 or $25,000?
So when you look on, let's make sure we're talking apples to apples, page 32. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go 6 down. Donations received through April 30th, 2022. We've received $20,848.
45?
That's as of April. And then as of April, to date, you spent, the the Centennial Committee spent $34,227 in the gala.
Well, that's what was budgeted. Now,
No, that is actual expenditures.
oh,
It's
okay.
expenditure for the gala and the carnival.
What carnival?
Wasn't there not a carnival on the marina, the Centennial on the day on the marina, there was a carnival.
The day of the gala, there was a
No, it was a gala that Friday night, was it? And then that Saturday was the carnival, Centennial Day on the marina.
So what's the expenditure of each?
We have to get that for you, ma'am, and bring it back. We can have a workshop on it if you like.
I really do, so what you're proposing is to take the $80,000 that we did not pay the finance director for the last fiscal year and to give it to the Centennial Committee so that they could finish planning the rest of these things that you have here, these activities. Because you got the firework over here, and then you have another $8,500 for the 4th of July. So what's the $8,500 for? What other?
So $25 that the commission approved back in September for this fiscal year was for $25,000 for fireworks only. So you're gonna have other incidentals that's gonna come up, for incidental things. So we have to wait for when Dr. Wallace gets up and gives her report and what the plans are. But it's been ongoing.
And, okay, the back to school bash, the Palm Beach State College, they do that for free, so why are we spending $14,000 on that?
So, Deputy,
That's
you'd
not
like to
correct.
take that?
It's not correct.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. To answer your question, Commissioner Perez, the Palm Beach State College, OCR, Office of Community Revitalization with Palm Beach County, they do a back-to-school bash. However, it is not free. It is either you support it in some fashion with a sponsorship. We pay for book bags. We have partnered with them in the past, and we may partner with them this year, but we will continue our tradition of doing our own back-to-school bash. We've done that over the last several years, and we want to continue. So that's why we're asking that Commission approve this budget, these recommendations, so that we can continue with doing our own back-to-school bash. We serve over 1,200 families in our community, students, and it has been a success, and we would like to continue that tradition.
A point of clarification as well. The line item budget for the back-to-school dash is $6,000 for the book bags. And in speaking with Ms. Adams, the cost of the book bags for the back-to-school dash has more than doubled due to supply chain issues, inflation, things like that. That's also what part of that $14,000 is for.
And, do we have like a itemized, expenditure of the budget, like how many, what do we get, book bags, and how much did that cost?
So as Ms. Latner just said, that the book bags, the cost of the book bags have gone up tremendously with the cost of everything else. And when we do plan for this back-to-school bash, we have a back-to-school bash meeting tomorrow. We itemize and line item each item. Things that from the food to the book bags to what it will take for us to successfully pull off this event. So that is why we have met as a team and looked at what the projected cost will be.
Does this include school supplies?
Yes, sir. School supplies that the kids will have that is required from them. So we use the book bag list, the school supply list that comes from the school district. It is not staff just coming up with their own whims.
Okay, so the fall festival, what is that?
the Fall Festival that will take place in the new fiscal year. Fall Festival is, we've done, in the past, we partner with Bridges, the school district, and so we pull out the hay, the community pulls out their cars, they pop the trunks, the kids drive through and they get candy. Different agencies give away information. So we've done it in the past, and again, we would like to continue to do that.
So PBSO did that.
And we'll still continue to partner with PBSO. All we're asking is that you allow us to help make our community better and bigger. Our event that we just had since Cinco de Mayo was a true success. Our carnival was a big success, and the community wants to continue to see us, not only just the city, but with the help of the Centennial Committee, make it more of a success.
What's the Caribbean Heritage Month?
Caribbean Heritage Month is so that we can celebrate all cultures. So when we did Cinco de Mayo, we not only celebrate the Hispanic, Mexican culture, but Caribbean, Haitian Americans, we celebrate every community. So it will be similar to Cinco de Mayo, except there's festivities that they honor, that we want to celebrate.
This is something new that we haven't had.
Yes, ma'am.
And the procedure for this is still the same. We're getting quotes from 3 different vendors. We're not just hiring whatever vendor is related to the members or the volunteers or what have you, or friends. This is gonna be a democratic way of doing the Centennial.
So, since I've just gotten here not too long ago, one of the things that I'm trying to introduce is looking at how we come about doing business, and then at the end of like we just had an event, Cinco de Mayo. So now they're gonna have a debriefing, and in that debriefing, we'll go through all those things, and I'll be able to come back with a report and say, here's the process. Now, I haven't started tearing out all the things and how it happens in the beginning, but trust me, I'm gonna get there. And then I hope that one of our commissioners will step up and say, hey, I wanna be on the event committee. You know, that way you see processes. It's just that easy.
But let's just say, to answer that question, being on the Centennial meetings, there is a process. They do the 3 quotes. It's not no at whim. Someone just threw up a name and they go for it. The process is the process. If you notice in your ordinance and your charter, there is a process that the city has to follow. So just because one city manager here and the other was here, it doesn't change. There is a process that the city has to go through. And they do the three quotes as being on the.
It was my understanding that this committee was supposed to report to the commission, and we were supposed to make the decisions. They were just as an organizer and as consulting.
No.
I've been in 3 cities in Florida, and the commission, council has never made that decision. That's on staff, and that's with the volunteers.
So the Centennial Committee, pretty much, it's on their own.
Commissioner Perez, I think at the time that the Centennial Committee was put into place, there was no Community and Economic Development Department. And so the events ran up under the Community and Economic Development Department when it came to city events. And now that staff is back in place, we have a fully functioning department. We work with the Centennial Committee to ensure that all events are successful. And to speak to the vendors, we still have to have quotes in place. Nothing has changed. We also have a list of preferred vendors. So vendors that we've used with the city that have already gone through a process. So it is not just seeking a quote, one quote, and that's it. We get several quotes, depending on what is needed. If it's something that is $20, we don't need 2 and 3 quotes. But if it is something that's over a certain amount, if it's over $300, if it's over $750, we abide by procurement policy. And so that takes the whole team. And now that we have a finance director in place, Ms. Lynn is going to make sure, along with each director, that everything follows protocol, because it does have to be taken to the city manager.
So whatever services or activities you're gonna have, they're advertised and they're sought for people to bid or to turn in quotes.
For events,
Yeah.
if you have a business that is interested in doing business with the city, they become a vendor. They let us know they have a license with the city. And so they're welcome. We can reach out to them and say, hey, we need a quote from you. If you have a bounce house business, a lollipop, popcorn business, whatever it is, because we wish to favor our businesses in the city.
Were you able to come out to the Centennial, ma'am?
No, I was not.
It was a nice, beautiful diversity.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Any additional questions? Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
No.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Motion passed by majority of 4-1 vote. Now we'll move to the next resolution, which is Resolution 2022-17, City Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, approving signatories for various bank accounts of the City of Pahokee at PNC Bank, N.A. Further
Ms. Burnett.
No, that's wrong.
Ms. Burnett, Ms. Burnett,
Yes.
go back, number 17, not 18.
You're on 18.
Oh, my apologies.
No problem.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, approving the change order number 1 on the attached Exhibit A.
Thank you. City Manager, could you give us a brief explanation of Resolution 2022-17?
Yes, sir. This is a change order that is presented by the Deputy City Manager, Jocelyn Adams. Come up to the mic and brief the commission.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commission. This change order is a change order number 1 for Barfield Highway. The change order will allow the contractor Russell Site Development to install filter fabric, which is related to the issues with the foundation for drainage. This was a change order that was initially presented to the commission. This change order was initially presented to the city in September 2021. Previous staff did not present this change order to commission for approval at that time. So I'm coming back and asking that you approve this change order. It has already taken place because we needed to install that filter fabric. As you can see, we do have a new road down and the majority of the road has been resurfaced, but we have to move forward. So the budget impact is $21,402.38. There's 21 additional contract days, which has been approved by the City Commission with your previous amendment, supplemental agreement amendment that was brought to you all last commission meeting, and that was with Resolution 2022-15. There's no legal notice, and staff recommendation from the Community and Economic Development Department is that the mayor and the commission approve the same change order number 1 for services that have already been successfully put in place by our contractor. And you do have 2 attachments, Resolution 2022-17 and change order number 1.
Ms. Adams, quick question. Did you ascertain the reason for the refusal originally of this change order
I
from
do
the
not know
previous
why it was
administration?
not presented. I just know that, with all change orders, anything that has to do with the road, we've always brought them forth to commission for approval, whether it is monetary or a time extension.
When was this work done?
When was the work done? The work was done in September 20th, 21.
And it was done even though it wasn't approved by the city?
The change order was signed off on by previous administration. It was not presented to commission.
So they turned in the work order and it was approved and they did it, but it wasn't paid, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that the change order, the requested change order, just went directly to administration, was not presented before commission, so that you are aware of what the change order is.
Okay, and this is for filter fabric. Is this for the installation or
It's
for
the
the
installation.
purchase of the
Installation,
fabric?
installation.
And who provided the fabric?
The fabric and installment was done as attached from JD.
So all of it is 21,000?
Yes, and that did not come, that's the subcontractor that works with the contractor.
So this was not foreseen, this just popped up and
I couldn't answer that, I wasn't with the city at that time.
Mayor, if I may, if you look at the date of the change order was since September the 20th of 2021. So that when the last previous administration was here, what she's saying is, and we was noticed as before, why we were, there were delays in the work on the road. This was one of them. This was one of them, because the change order, I'm not done. The change order was never presented to the commission. It came to the city. And your previous administration, your previous city manager sat there and not brought this to the commission. So that was some of your delay and some of the complaints from your residents why there's no work on the road. Because the change order has to come to the commission to approve if there's any changes. So now, we're now catching up to, from September the 20th, 2021. So the work could not just stay there, so they went ahead and did the work, because they have to complete the road.
Okay. We've had the resolution properly read into the minutes by the city attorney and properly explained by staff. What's your pleasure on the resolution? Then we'll go to discussion if there are any additional questions. We didn't do that. We didn't get a motion.
Mayor, I'm sorry. I move that we would accept resolution 2022-17.
I'll second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin for the movement and adoption of resolution 2022-17 and properly second by Commissioner Gonzalez. Call for questions. Here no.
You say that this is for a subcontractor? Because it says Russo, or Rosso, whatever the name is.
Rosso Site Development is the contractor that is laying the road. The subcontractor is JD. Johnson Davis.
But
so any change orders, any work went through Rosso, and then Rosso submits it to our CEI, who is Momentum. They submit it to us, and we determine whether we are approving the change order or not.
What's the name of the subcontractor?
Subcontractor is Johnson Davis. You have the attachment in there.
Page 39.
Well, that's got a different amount. That says 20,000 965.48. And the change orders for 21,402.38.
Well, it shows on page 38.
What, we had to pay for the bond and general liability insurance?
I'm sorry, repeat that question.
She's
Okay.
commenting on page 38.
Davis, the thing says 20,965.48. Rosso work orders for 21,402.38. And the only addition that I see at the bottom is bond and general liability insurance. Are we paying for their bond and liability insurance?
Yes, ma'am, and those fees also go directly to FDOT, so there's contingency dollars that have already been accounted for. And even with this is something that was unforeseen. As you know, when you get down to do construction in a road, sometimes there's things that occur that they're not aware of. So even with this, as we have stated, this has already been paid for, been completed. In September, I believe that they completed or started the completion of this.
Well, I've never heard of the entity paying for the subcontractor's liability and bond and general liability insurance. Never heard of that. They should carry their own.
They do carry their own,
So why are they billing
but
us for it?
they're not billing us.
Is that it?
FDOT has already put the contingency in there.
Johnson Davis, 19,967. Then you got the markup of 998.36, which I don't know what that markup means. And then you added bond and general liability insurance, 436.90. That makes a total to 21,402.38. So what is the markup and what bond and general liability? If they're billing us for it, because we're paying for it.
All contractors have a markup. So when they put in a bid, there's a markup because they have to make money off of it. Also, the bond and the general liability insurance, all of our bids, our contractors put that amount. They put an amount in there, even though they have a bond, which we get the bond depending on what the amount is. We do ask for a bond. This is a subcontractor, so that subcontractor billed against Rosso.
I understand what you're saying, but that doesn't make sense to me. I've never seen a contract where, we do all kinds of bids, and I've never billed, other than the bid price, I've never billed separate for general liability insurance, whether I'm using a subcontractor. If I'm the contractor and I use a subcontractor, my subcontractor needs to have general liability insurance and a bond. If not, they have to work under mine.
I understand.
But not the people that I got the contract from. They're not liable, they don't have to pay that. I've
And
never
again,
seen
Commissioner
that.
Perez, this took place and I
Or
wasn't with
markup.
I wasn't with the city, so I can't answer as to why that was done that way then. I'm just bringing it forth to you also that you all are aware and asking that you approve so that when we submit all of our contracts and our documents and our follow-up, we have everything we need in place.
Okay.
And we are time to close out this contract.
Any additional questions?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
I'm just curious, who approved that liability to be thrown on us? Because she's correct. You do construction, you're supposed to bring your own liability insurance.
Previous administration, I was not here. That was in September. That was September 2021.
What was that?
In additional questions? Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
No.
Commissioner Perez,
Hope.
Mayor Bab.
Yes, motion passed with a majority, 3-2 votes. Now we'll move to Resolution 2022-18, City Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, approving signatories for various bank accounts of the City of Pahokee at PNC Bank N.A. Further, authorizing city officials to execute all necessary documents for PNC Bank N.A., providing for an effective date.
Thank you, City Attorney. City Manager, could you give us a brief explanation of Resolution 2022-18?
Yes, sir. We're requesting to add Lynn Latner, our interim finance director, to the bank account so we can move forward with doing bank reconciliations and balancing the books.
Quick question. Is anyone coming off the signatory, or that's just going to be an additional one?
In addition to.
Okay.
So we all would have to sign the cards all over again.
So you're adding
Yes,
the
ma'am.
finance director, don't the city get, bank statements?
Yes, ma'am. Hold on, the attorney got cut off, so, sorry. What's your question, ma'am?
I said, doesn't the city get, bank statements at the end of the month, and that's how you reconcile the bank? What is the purpose of three people having, access to the accounts in the bank?
So typically, your finance director has access to everything and has the ability to do the city's work. We've been over a year without one. There's a lot of catching up to do. So this is signatory. Now, as far as once I get full authority, these are PNC Bank's rules that we're governing by. So we're asking for signature to be added and to have that access.
So who's on there now?
I believe it's city clerk, myself, the mayor.
So it's gonna be 4 people.
That's good.
All right, what's happening here is we were without a finance director. The finance director handles that. The finance director is the signer. When we don't have a finance director per our charter, the mayor steps in as a signer, where the commissioners vote on who's the individual from the commission that steps in as a signer. You had me and the mayor. Now that we have an interim city manager and a finance director, those two in City Hall are normally the signers of the checks. And we'll just be backup just in case we don't have individuals in City Hall.
So it'll be Mr. Lucas and the finance director, and you two gonna be backup.
Yeah, per the ordinance, we're just secondary signatures. We're only there if no one's able to sign checks.
And I
It
have
takes 2
another
signatures.
question. I have another question. You said that we're very behind. I thought that that's why we were paying the outside contractor, and it took her, almost to this year to finish and catch up everything, and we had an audit, financial audit and everything, so what are we behind on?
Let's go back to this. I need to get a motion and a second, then we'll call for questions, but
I thought you
hopefully
did.
the question should pertain to the item on the agenda. I know she brought it in when she mentioned that comment, but that really doesn't pertain to the resolution about being behind or whatever, so I just want to
Well,
clear
the
that
city
up.
manager mentioned it, I just wanna know, because supposedly that's why we were paying the.
Well, hold on. You just had a consultant. She wasn't here day to day. She was not here day to day.
Let's deal with the resolution first. If somebody wants to.
Susan, the consultant,
Mayor
was
Van, I
not here
will
day to day.
Move that we accept
commission-
resolution 2022-18.
I second.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin And properly second by Commissioner Gonzalez for the adoption of Resolution 2022-18. Call for question.
I second.
No, he did, yeah, he said it first, yeah.
My question, what are we behind on? Because I want to understand.
Well, you're getting an assessment once. She's only on day, what, 7? We're trying to go through and properly assess everything so we can properly bring it to the commissioners and let you know where everything's at. So one of the things I noticed is things haven't been updated in the system to give us a current balance.
So what was she doing?
So she comes and she assists in helping the department in questions that, for example, Glennie is the junior accountant. She asks questions. She comes every Friday. She's been very essential in helping keeping the city afloat.
Point of order, Mayor. Can we go back to the resolution 2022-18?
Yes, we are. We're gonna move Resolution 2022-18. The questions in order to ask questions, we need to be pertaining to the actual item on the agenda. At some point, you could have the city manager explain why we short or what's the process there, but we're dealing with this resolution at this point. Yeah. In addition, question pertaining to Resolution 2022-18. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin.
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden.
Yes.
Commissioner Perez.
Sure, why not?
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Motion passed by majority of 4-1 vote.
Actually, she said sure.
I'm sorry. 5-0, unanimous vote. Thank you. Now we move to other agenda items, presentation if there are any. We have grits, a presentation here. City Manager.
Yes, sir. Our guest coming in, Karen Esther Hoskins. Would you like to come up to the mic and give us your presentation on grits and what it stands for, ma'am?
Nice to see you all again, Commissioner Mervin, Commissioner Perez, Commissioner Bolden, Mayor Bab. Okay, can you hear me now? And City Manager. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Karen Esther Hoskins. I am the granddaughter of a farmer. My grandfather used to farm here in the Glades region. And my mother actually used to, she would have to go to the farms every day after school to pick beans and other vegetation that grew out here in the Glades. So even though I'm not originally from this side, my family's from this side. Okay, so I am the founder for Rise and Shine Christian Academy. And what we'd like to bring to the Glades region is a program called GRITS, and what that stands for is the Glades Region IT Scholarship Program, okay? And there is a need for this program, okay? Studies have proven that students from low-income families are less likely to attend college and less likely to graduate. However, IT certifications have proven to reduce the likelihood of criminal activity, which reduces crime-related expenses for cities and generates additional revenue and taxable income from productivity. Rise and Shine, in partnership with CompTIA, will provide the Glades Region IT Scholarship. The Glades Region IT Scholarship will benefit the residents of the Glades region by providing IT scholarships to low-income residents within the Glades region in an effort to encourage safer communities and gainfully employed residents, okay? The geographic area to be served, GRITS would serve residents in the Glades region, This scholarship would be open to high school sophomores, seniors, and also to any resident within the community who is interested in either adding an IT certification to their existing career or maybe changing careers in order to earn more income. I'd also like to note that on average, individuals who hold IT certifications earn double of that of individuals who do not have IT certifications. I would also like to note that we are living in a digital economy at this time where the new standard is not just a high school diploma or it's not just a bachelor's degree anymore. The new requirement is for individuals to hold IT certifications, okay? Rise and Shine Christian Academy, in partnership with CompTIA, we are an academic partner, and with full authorization to offer these IT certifications and the curriculum to the residents. We will be offering 4 exciting career paths: IT fundamentals, network plus, A plus, and security plus, and many more. Rise and Shine will work with the agencies in the surrounding area to increase participation in this program. We will be serving South Bay, Belleville, and Pahokee, okay? Participants, some of our goals would be, our first goal, 100% of our participants will have a better understanding of how IT certifications will adequately prepare them to compete in our digital economy. Our second goal would be 100% of our participants will have the curriculum to prepare and pass IT certification exams. Our goal number 3, 100% of our participants will have a better understanding of the opportunities available to individuals who hold IT certifications and will be well positioned to take advantage of job placement opportunities and to succeed. Our fourth goal would be 100% of our participants will have a better understanding of the different IT certifications that are available to them to positively impact their ability to maintain gainful employment, to better provide for their families, and to give back to the communities in which they live. Our fifth goal would be for parents, guardians, will take a larger role in supporting their students' aspirations to both attain and maintain IT certifications through commitment, dedication, persistence, okay? And then our outreach plan for the program would be Rise and Shine Christian Academy will work collaboratively with its existing network of nonprofit organizations and youth-focused community organizations in the Glades region to recruit eligible participants for the GRIDS program, okay? Our proposed outcome, no, let's go to the staff plan. I think that should be our second page. Rise and Shine Christian Academy will provide staffing and the administrative support for the program from its existing team, as well as work collaboratively with other youth-focused organizations to provide volunteers and mentors to the students. The purpose of Rise and Shine Christian Academy IT Scholarship Program is to provide IT certification access, okay, to high school students of low-income areas within South Bay, Pahokee, and Barfield, Florida. In an effort to reduce poverty, this is our primary reason for bringing this program here. A lot of our residents are impacted by poverty, and without IT certification, it puts them in a disadvantaged position in order to compete for jobs, okay? So it's very necessary that this program is available to the residents so that they can compete to have the type of jobs that they need to earn a living and to provide for their families. Okay. All right, unlike traditional college preparation programs, Rise and Shine IT Scholarship Academy will focus both on IT certifications, job application and placement, as well as developing the skills to promote increased certification rates among students that are within our communities. okay? The types of services provided, Rise and Shine IT Scholarship will provide, it says monthly on here, but it would be actually twice a week for 2 hours, okay? Twice a week for 2 hours we're gonna work with whether they're young adults or whether they're students, the program will be open to all because we recognize that everybody needs to either, if you add a certification to your resume, you're gonna get paid more, okay? Just to kind of put it, because the job market has kind of changed, to put it very frankly. So what we want to do, the main purpose is we're going to work with the students 2 hours a day, twice a week. There's 2 offerings of how we could get the curriculum across to the students so that they can prepare for the certifications. One, we could do, if they want to do a boot camp, we have the ability to offer them IT fundamentals or even A+ within, you can do A+ in 10 days, but that would require you to do 8 hours a day for 10 days straight, and then you could sit for the certification. We think that's a little, some people, are interested in doing that way. Other individuals are interested in taking more time to digest the information. Okay. Between the meetings, participants will, complete assigned readings, labs, practice tests, communicate with the volunteers or adult mentors to assist them in applying the information they learned during the sessions. The program will conclude with IT certification exam assistance, IT certification exam and assistance updating their resumes and assistance in applying for jobs in the IT industry. Okay. The GRITS will offer, it says 2 cycles here, but it should actually be 4 cycles. We want to give our residents an opportunity. If you want to start at IT fundamentals and you want to go straight to security, we want to give you an opportunity to earn your your security IT certification. If you are more into the networking realm, we want to give you an opportunity to earn your Network Plus IT certifications. And then, of course, we also have the A+. The program will conclude with the opportunity to sit for the IT certification exam. Okay, each cycle will be comprised of, actually the cycles will be comprised of the A+, the IT fundamentals should take us about 2.5 months if we do it twice a week. 2 times a week. 2 hours, twice a week, I'm sorry. So the scheduling of how we will administer the certification exam courses will be dependent on how many individuals we have and what their schedule would be so that they could, complete the course, whether it's going to be a boot camp style or if you're a single mom and you're working and you're interested in getting your IT certification, but you're only available for 2 hours, then we want to give you an opportunity to take it either in the morning or in the evening. Okay, so we want to be flexible because the main goal is to serve the community. Okay. We would also like to note that the average salary of individuals who hold IT certification is an estimated $64,000 a year. Okay. Rise and Shine Christian Academy, with all of the resources, to effectively provide productive study groups and space for students to sit for the IT certification exam. Okay, so our program is pretty simple in the sense where our main goal is to provide the residents with an IT program. There's no IT program in the Glades currently. There's no one offering the residents access to IT certifications. And this would be the primary goal of our program, which would be to add IT certification access for the residents here so that they can generate more income for their families and for themselves. Okay? I don't know how much more minutes I have here. But, okay, so the proposed outcome for number 1, the GRITS program would result in 100% of our students participating. I think I did that part. Or did I? Yeah, I think I did that part. 100% of our students would participate, have a better understanding of the IT certification process, as well as strategies to pass the IT certification exam and succeed as a gainfully employed member of our community and society. 100% of the students participating have a better understanding of the different career paths. And, okay, the evaluation methods track participants' practice tests through the program and provide additional assistance and feedback. Track the number of students admitted and retained in the program via sign-in sheets in all sessions. Collect and analyze the student course evaluations for each workshop in the program via surveys at the conclusion of each workshop. And then, of course, we would provide additional study groups as needed. We would also like to conduct and analyze exit interviews with participants prior to completing the program. And, of course, conduct focus groups with randomly selected participants in the group to gain the participants' perspectives as to the successes and failures of the program. And then, of course, we would wrap it up with administering the IT certification exams to all the student participants at the last meeting. After the results are compiled and analyzed, they would be presented to the Glades region as an indicator of positive change and an increased earning potential. Okay, so in a nutshell, we would be bringing an IT program to the Glades region. I think it would be a great addition. We are seeking the support of the city of Pahokee. We are also asking, I think I had an opportunity to meet with different individuals and, looking for space so that we can offer this program. We will be, have our first cohort beginning this coming June. We'll be in South Bay, Florida, offering it to our residents in the South Bay region. And then, of course, we also have an opportunity to offer it to some residents in the Belle Glade area as well. Because Pahokee is a part of the Glades, so we want to make sure that we come out and let you know that we will be in your community. And our purpose will be to equip your residents with IT certifications so that they can compete in our digital economy. Do you all have any questions?
No, but we definitely thank you.
For the community or for the
This is-
students or?
This IT certification program is for all residents, for our Spanish residents, and also keep in mind, our CompTIA curriculum comes in Spanish. So it also comes for our Creole residents. I don't know if we have any Creole individuals here. Yes, it also comes in Creole. So CompTIA, it transcends all languages, all barriers. So it is, it's open to all residents. Yes, our focus group is on low-income individuals. We're not going to be targeting individuals who already have good paying jobs, okay? We're going to be targeting individuals who are interested in, learning new skills in order to earn more income for their families, okay?
And you said that you aided job placement. What companies do you have?
Well, that's a great question. We will be partnering with CareerSource, okay? And as we all know, CareerSource is one of the leading agencies in the region in order to help with identifying job opportunities. And they also assist with, interviewing and, connecting the residents with potential opportunities, okay?
I think we really need to pay attention to the things that are coming our way here in the Glades. And specifically, I'm talking about Pahokee right now. We talk about businesses, and we talk about bringing businesses to Pahokee. And even during my campaign, this is one of the things that I mentioned. Part of the problem is we need to create a solid middle class. Businesses do demographics, and with our average household income, it's always going to be a challenge to bring businesses here. This is an opportunity. This is an industry that does not rely on the income of our citizens in order to sustain itself. It also opens the door for our residents to work remotely and earn upwards of $70,000 plus. That's important. And this is one industry that has pretty much fallen into our lap We need to really give this a lot of attention. This is the world that we live in, and if we want to change our economy, this is the way that one of the ways that we can create a solid middle class here in Pahokee. Please do not let this slip through our fingers.
I would also like to add that with an IT program in the Glades region, we can completely transform the economic trajectory of our residents. I mean, I'm talking, and I even did the numbers, even if we get 30 individuals, okay, from Pahokee, 30 individuals from Belglade, and 30 individuals from South Bay. That's a total of only 90 individuals. Now imagine 90 of these individuals earning upward, let's say, because I know a lot of the people who live here enjoy living here. This is their home. So now let's say you have a person who is originally earning $25,000, $35,000 a year. And now you have these same individuals earning $70,000, $80,000. Now you do $80,000 times 30, or $64,000 times 30. Do you see how much bringing into that area just from IT certifications? Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think that's pretty amazing. Okay? I think that is one of the things that separates communities. What separates communities? Access to information. This is what separates communities. Now, by providing the access to this type of information that is required, now we will have the opportunities, new opportunities will be available to generate the type of income that you're looking for, okay? The type of income that you're looking for is in IT certifications, okay? So,
and I'll just add one more thing while we're on it. I'll just add one more thing, guys. When you have a solid middle class, you're talking about disposable income, and that's what businesses are attracted to, guys. They're not gonna come to Pahokee because they like us or we beg them. They're gonna come to Pahokee because they can make money. They'll be able to make money when we have a solid middle class. They have, well, after they pay their bills, they have enough money left over to patronize various businesses. And that's what draws them here. Not a wish, not a prayer. A median household income above $27,000. I think we should be kind of, challenging ourselves in the next 8 years to be at 47,000 as a median household income by the next U.S. Census. It does good for Pahokee, and this is why we need this type of industry to be introduced.
So what would be the next step? What are we looking to do?
well, as you all know, we all need funding. So I did add a little budget in there, and not to be funny or anything of that nature, but our goal is to start small, okay? Our goal is to start small. We are already working with the USDA, and we're also working with some different foundations. We have secured an excellent grant writer, so this opportunity is very viable at this time. And we are looking to gain some financial or some funding from the city so that we can be able to offer these IT certifications to residents right here in the city of Pahokee. So that's where we are, and we are hoping to start within the next couple of weeks. So if we can secure some funding, we can be sure to be able to have at least, I want to say 20 to 30 scholarships available to the residents here. And guys, another thing I want to add, this is not like a 4-year degree. This doesn't take long. This doesn't take long. This is we're going to get them in, we're going to get them out, we're going to get them certified, and then we're going to get them jobs. Okay, and entry-level positions with these IT certifications, it's promising.
Where would the training take place, the certification? Are you looking at the schools or maybe a gym, or where were you looking at?
That's a great question. We originally, and I do apologize, Mayor Babb, that I didn't have an opportunity. I tried to contact you, but, due to email, I don't know. But I had an opportunity to reach out to different members. So That is a great question because we have looked at your old commissioner building, which I think would be a great building, but I understand that there are some structural issues with that building in terms of the roofing. If that particular building were available, that would be great. I have had an opportunity to work with lovely Peggy, who has had an opportunity to, she was going to help me identify some other possible resources. But the main goal, my focus is to get the curriculum, find the individuals who are interested, get the curriculum to those individuals, let's walk them through it, let's get this curriculum in there and let them sit for the certification and pass it.
And get good jobs.
And get these jobs. So that's like, I also had one more last thing and I'll let you guys go. I know it's almost your dinner time. Well, it's past dinner time.
And while you look at that, what's the value of the scholarship? What would it cost, say for instance, your scholarship run out and an individual want to pay his way through the program? How much it would average cost?
Now you're talking, Mr. Beth. Okay, in all honesty, because we are a nonprofit organization, our main focus is to get to the individuals first who are interested in the scholarship opportunity, and then address individuals who may not, once scholarships run out and we have other individuals, those are our second priority. Our first priority is for individuals who want to participate in our scholarship program. Okay, so that's our first program. So that's our focus at this point. So the opportunities that are going to become available for these individuals will be the tech support specialist, IT project manager, network support specialist, and cybersecurity support technician. We also want to give the residents opportunity to earn multiple IT certifications. The more IT certifications you have, the more income you will earn. Okay. And also I want to note, you're never too old to get an IT certification. Anybody who's on this board can study and read that book and take that exam, okay? So it is available to all residents, all right? Anything else?
Maybe I spoke with Peggy a couple of weeks ago. I'm like Mr. Bolden, I think this is a great opportunity for our community. That's where we're at in technology, and I think it would be a great plus. I'm hoping that we can help her find, I don't know where to go or what, but hoping that the city can do some assistance and help her so we can get this into our city for our residents.
And my last question, how do the enrollment process start? How do we get the information out to our public that this is going to be started and what qualify them for a scholarship?
Well, based on the demographic studies that we've already conducted, most of the residents do qualify. There is a career fair coming up.
Okay.
That is sponsored by, I believe, Career Source, and we intend on being there. I'll be there with my little clipboard. Partnership. Yeah, and our partnership, yes. We will be there in order to let residents know that IT certifications are in the Glades, and we will be taking their information so that we can sign them up for the program. Yes.
Look, I know I've spoken with you before.
Yes.
I have asked somebody about a building. I don't want to give out the name just yet because they're still looking into it.
Okay.
So I'll give you a heads up on that one later.
Okay, thank you. I would definitely appreciate that because the more individuals that we can serve, the more exciting I think this opportunity will be.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, we're looking good. 8:29, so hopefully we got here well before 9.
Next 10 minutes.
Our next presenter won't be here this afternoon. He had an emergency in his family. That was Career Source Activities in the Glades by Mr. Charles Duvall. So we'll hopefully invite him back at a future meeting. Now we're going to move quickly into the mayor's report. Just a few announcements. We had our National Day of Prayer on Thursday, May 5th at 12 noon at the Payton And the reason for the announcement is just to encourage our community when the city hosts available to begin coming out to some of the events that's being put on by our city. Also, there was a Boys and Girls Forum held at Pahokee High School, also on the same day, May 5th. It was conducted by the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. Had some great presenters there.
Yes.
One of them was Anquan Bolden, always coming back to the community, doing whatever he can for our young population. But we had all three of the mayors and some other great speakers. Some of the topics was sex trafficking, healthy relations, just some real tough topics, and those students were real attentive and did a great job. So I just wanted to just briefly mention that. Also, we're gonna ask the city manager, at least I would, as the mayor. We got two potential developers who's looking at the old City Hall site for a possible hotel. We really don't want to let them go. We're going to have to stay on top of that. Encouragement. They're putting together a proposal. Hopefully one or two or both will submit something to us so we can consider. But that's something so sorely needed in Pahokee because we have so many family members that no longer live in Pahokee that want to come back even just on the weekend and visit their relatives. And that last developer is looking at having a convention center within the hotel that can be rented out to residents and community groups to put on different events and programs there. So I have my hand crossed, but and some prayers going up. So we just want the community to be just aware of that activity as is ongoing, that we're hoping it would happen. Even the developer who decided to sell their property at the old Eastlake site, if we as a city, as a commission, as a administration can go back and knock on their doors and see if they could reconsider and go ahead and build those housing that they had promised that they would try to do. So things like that, it's some things that are in the work. We're hoping that some of these things materialize so our city can continue to move forward in its progress. And I'll just conclude at that. Next, we'll have our city manager with the city manager report.
Thank you, sir. I just put before you a two-page report, but I'm working on a monthly report for the for the month of April that will encompass all the departments, fire, police, with their monthly reports and so forth. So hopefully by next Monday, I'll have all that completed for you. But just to bring you up to speed on what's going on under critical items, just giving you guys a status on the Pahokee Marina restaurant sublease agreement with JPDT Holdings. I spoke with Brad Richardson today with the State Division of State Lands, and he was just waiting for our hard copy we sent for signature. If he doesn't get it by end of week, he will sign an electronic copy that I emailed to him. We did send it through FedEx back April 22nd, so we need to reach out to FedEx for what's going on with the delivery. Also, we sent to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection Agency on yesterday response to ask for a notice of appeal. Also, today we sent out the corrective action plan to come in compliance with the demands from the agency, so we're pending a response. They did note our request for the appeal yesterday. We got a notice saying that the appeal was received. So I don't know how long these processes take, but I'll keep you guys posted. We are in the process of bringing some things to the commission in a workshop format as we get numbers and look at fixing up, repairing, or replacing docks D, E, and F, which is to the far right as you look from where the boat dock is. So that side is non-functioning right now. And we're going to come with a turnkey process. I have our building official going to all city properties, do assessment on all things outstanding that needs to be fixed, repaired, replaced on all items that we own. So that way I can have an assessment for my commission. Also, last week I received from Pahokee Housing Authority 2 checks, one for $15,919.25 and one for $7,946.59 for payments in lieu of taxes from the McClure Village annexation. So I guess these things are something that they get, they pay to the city for their taxes in lieu of, and so I turned those in to be processed to finance.
If I could, at that point, ask you just a quick question. Where did those funding go? Is it in our general account, or how the funds used? I know it's in lieu of taxes, but I'm just asking how that funding is.
So when we receive it in, it usually goes general fund. Ms. Lynn, have you had a chance, I know you sat down with Susan, but has there been a transfer of power there for the finance position?
We are still working through things.
Okay.
The primary issue that we were working through last week was finalizing and submitting reports for the FY20 audit.
And do we get a budget amendment for those type of items? Are that already projected in our annual budget when we receive checks such as this?
So when the budget is set, when you guys set it in September, it's based on things you already are receiving. So this project, I don't know the end date of when the payment in lieu of, what's the life expectancy of the project? We need to find out from Housing Authority, don't we?
Yeah.
Just to see. So I'll find out, because you're right, it's calculated into our budget, but for a certain amount of years, because that's amortized, that project. So I have to find out for you. But it should go to general fund, but I'll have a better answer on that. And
I have a question. What is this project?
It says taxes.
what, the McClure Village Annex?
Yeah.
Um,
The McClure project was annexed to the city at some point, and now they're paying their share of the taxes to the city. I don't understand what.
Well, I'll sit down with Ms. Harvey, the executive director, and understand how long this project's been ongoing. So I'm unfamiliar when it was.
What is the project? I don't understand.
I don't think it's.
Well,
It's not a project.
they,
It's not a project. Each year, the Pahokee Housing Authority, is something about the in lieu of taxes.
Yeah.
And they have to pay for their tax. You would need to speak with Mr. Polynina and Mr. Harvey, the finance director.
Mhm.
But they could break it down, because each year, they pay their, it's in lieu of taxes.
Yeah,
But
most
it's nothing to do with that property.
Most government entities is like that. You
Yeah.
even take like Sago Palm Academy out there, they paid like $73,000 in lieu of taxes because we don't tax them at the same rate as a residential facility, so.
But McClure, are you talking about the housing
The housing
development
authority.
McClure?
Right.
And they're annexed to the city.
I don't know why they
At
use
one
this
point-
word on here, annex there, but that may be.
name of the McClure Index.
Okay.
That's the name of his property.
Okay.
McClure Index.
But it's in the city.
Yes, it's within the city.
It's always been part of the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always been part of the city.
I will get those answers and send it to the commission in the email, that process, so that we all fully understand it. Also, what has happened is the ZAP board that the commission selected, they had their workshop, and our next meeting date will be May 19th to hear the site plan for the old hospital, which is the, one sec. So, city clerk was saying a different date, but the 19th, because we have to wait 10 days. All right, so we had Dr. Wallace there. What date did I give you? The 19th, right? And you guys told me that's a Thursday and 5 o'clock,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
5 o'clock. You just wasn't there, so we need to update you. It's okay. So the first hearing will be for the, what is it called? No. Yeah, I can't say that name. Peggy, what's the name of the hospital site?
Everglades. Memorial Everglades.
So the Memorial, the Everglades Commons Townhomes is what it's called. It's 60 units. So that site plan will be coming before them. So there'll be two things on that agenda that day. One, to select their chair and a couple other positions, and then the voting of, for approval, because staff is going to recommend approval of the site plan. Then just for FYI for mayor, vice mayor, and commissioners, upcoming strategic planning meeting set for Friday, May 20th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Marina Conference Room. Also, let me know for Tuesday, May 31st, we're going to have a 3-part series starting May for board development. And that's from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the Marina Conference Room.
Could you get a little specific on that? When you say board development, you're talking about advisory boards or where?
No, it's the commission, it's you guys, for board introduction of boards and how to interact with staff. I'm gonna have a 3-part series where we deal with decisions, then that'll be May. Then in July, we'll have where we talk about where are we now, where we want to go, and then in September, we go with the vision, mission, looking at intermediate future plans of Pahokee, so we can dial deep down into making overall decisions and how we're going to bring players to the table. You know, you guys talked about annexations, you talked about infill housing, you talked about many problems. Like one thing that I just discovered in a conversation with the fire department, we have low water pressure. So there's a chance we have a fire, we can't even put the fire out. So I got to sit down with Palm Beach County. I'm working with Mrs. Baker, and I'm on her schedule for May 26th But at our retreat, I plan on having one of her staff members come in and talk to us about utility, a master utility plan, then looking at infrastructure, all these things that we are in need of, we need to partner back up with, because we used to have a relationship with Palm Beach County, so we need to get that back. We farmed out a lot of things to them as far as fire, police, and then our water, sewer, all those things. So we need to be in tandem with them, and they need to support us. And then we got housing issues. How do we keep up with our current housing track? How do we tap into emergency housing funds with Palm Beach County? So there's a lot of conversations I'm beginning to have so that I can bring these things and have presenters present to you guys what you want to do and how they can assist us. And then we can prioritize based on how you guys want us as staff to move forward. That concludes my report, sir.
Okay.
I have a question. Is this two different meetings, right?
Yes, ma'am. So May 20th is the strategic plan retreat.
Oh, so the ZAP, that's not us?
No, that's the board that was selected by the commission. The ZAP board is the zoning adjustments and planning board.
And when are they meeting?
May 19th, here in this chamber,
At what time?
5 p.m.
Well, I'm mad at Mr. Lucas before you move on. I just want to mention the two upcoming events. The City of Pahokee Job Fair on Thursday, May 12th in the gym from 12 to 4. And we're emphasizing, we don't dictate who to hire and when to hire, but we're emphasizing Pahokee residents as much as we can to, again, do what Commissioner Bowler talked about, bring that income level up to a certain point that we can benefit from and have that money circulate within our community. And second one, having a financial workshop with Mr. Dr. Larry Diamond. He's a graduate of Pahokee, and he's just coming back to the community to try to assist small business in their growth and their development. We're not, I don't know what you call the word, we're not endorsing it, but we are trying to get the word out to our residents in the business community that this is something they may want to look at to assist their business development.
And some other key dates I just was handed. May 17th, Glades graduation. May 19th, Pahokee High School graduation. And then there's May 17th at the Rosenwall. That's for the elementary school. And that's in Palm Beach County's employees with 30 years or so. What's that?
They're honoring Palm Beach County School District employees with over 30 years of service.
Okay.
And lastly, the ARPA Advisory Board, where that's standing, I was hoping that we had the application here that we can move forward with that. I know the administration have submitted a tentative plan for how that money was going to be spent, but we certainly want our community input in that process as much as we can.
So on the American Rescue Act money, we actually spoke with Florida League of Cities with Wade today, and we're trying to clear out the administrator they have is Greg Thompson. So we were able to submit our things in, and they said they've received it, but the Treasury Department has us on pause, changing out a name and getting the password and everything changed out. So that's kind of where we're at there. I can bring back to you a more detailed the proposal so you guys can see what was submitted. We don't have a problem doing that, right, Ms. Adams? Okay.
And where we are on the board selection, we still don't have enough applicant to select our board, advisory board?
Not as of now, sir. We don't even have 10 applicants as of now. We have a few applicants, but it's not even 10. But if you want, we can go ahead and,
Yeah, I would even suggest, I know it was our desire to do 11, but even if we got one selection apiece, at least we can have a working advisory board that can submit, at least the ideas from the community's perspective.
I understand.
Yeah.
Each one of you guys were supposed to appoint 2 members. Did you
Right.
speak to anyone in reference to them turning in an application for the board? Because if they don't turn the application in,
Yeah, see, I don't know if mine have or not because I don't have the name that we currently have. So if I had that, I
Okay,
can look
well,
at
I'll-
other folks that may be interested, and that'll help me. I don't know about the
Okay,
others. It'll
so
help me
the
some.
goal is 11, and so what we'll do is, in the morning, I'll get with, the city clerk, and she'll give me all the names, and then I'll hit you guys all with the email, so you can see where else I could rally at to get the board built for y'all.
All right, thank you.
When this board is created, are they gonna have, like a workshop or something, letting them know what the rules, regulations, what we could do, cannot do? Cause, I mean, these are just citizens that need to be educated, instead of
Yes,
just
sir.
going out and saying everything they wanna do.
We
Yeah, you're
mentioned
right.
we're gonna give them
So
training.
that same format of what you mentioned, Dr. Wallace is a good example of that when staff came and presented, gave you the rules of engagement and all those things, spent 2 hours with you guys, answering all your questions and giving you insight. How did you feel about that, Dr. Wallace?
The process works. We follow the process. We follow the process. We don't break the rule for anybody. The city interacted with us very well when I met with your staff. They understood the assignment. We already had the assignment. And it's been beautiful. To see what we have done in the last 2 weeks is amazing.
And that's the ZAP board. So we did give out the rules of engagement based on the Muni code, based on the city of Pahokee's rules of engagement, how to operate the ZAP board. So we would do the same thing with ARP
Yeah.
and the board.
In addition to
Because the
that,
federal government gave us the rules of engagement of how to do it.
just wanna let Ms. Warner, whoever's gonna assist in that we prepare the opera plan itself, the rules and regulations of that, plan. We wanna have that already as a handout when we do the initial training too, so they can familiarize themselves with what can be funded and the means of going about doing it. Again, they're only advisory, but they need to have as much information on this as they possibly
We
have.
haven't decided. I have to see.
So, cause I'm kinda confused. The committee that we have already is the SAP. The ARPA has not been even formed, so the same process is gonna be done with this committee, is that what you're telling me?
Yes, ma'am.
If I could make a suggestion, I can email you the applicants, but also if you had 2 people that you already selected, if you can just email me their names.
The thing is, okay, I select 3, I don't even know at this point, I can ask them, have they actually submitted the application? So if
Okay.
I know who's currently you have, it'll tell me right away, my person haven't submitted the applications, that's all I was,
Okay.
that's why it would help me, but
Well,
I
I
agree.
can draft up a memorandum tomorrow and send it out to the commission.
Now, just being a novice here, I had a quick question, Mayor and Commissioners. So, criteria, is it a Pahokee resident or business?
Mhm.
You know, if you're in business, it has to be in the, I mean, I don't know.
No, it's
the
no
basic-
criteria other than being a resident of Pahokee.
Okay.
But we did because we wanted a cross section of the community. That's why we was kind of suggesting agriculture, religion, regular business folks, regular citizen. So we'll at least probably touch base on one or more of those areas that we can have a good selection. But it's no other conditions.
Mayor Bev, if I may, we missed, the Centennial,
We're gonna get to that.
Oh, okay, I didn't know you did. Okay, 'cause it wasn't on there. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We've been kind of ramping, but We are taking care of the business, so. Next on the agenda is our city attorney report. You have a report, Ms. Week? Thank you, ma'am. Okay, now we'll move to, we don't have any old business, we'll go to new business. Our Centennial Committee report, Dr. Wallace.
Keith, on May the 12th, what time is the workshop?
First, I want to say to this committee, this commissioner and
1 minute. Put up at 4 at the jail.
I want to say to the commissioners, the citizens, thank you. Cinco de Mayo was another successful event in the city of Pahokee. It was well attended. The weather cooperated with us greatly. I want to say thank you to PBSO, Fire Rescue, to the citizens that came out and interacted, to the extra work that the city team had to do to make sure that we were in compliance, and our team working hard to make sure that we followed the rules. I want to just say thank you. The next event is scheduled for June the 18th, which will represent our Juneteenth event. The city of Belgrade is having one on the 19th. So Juneteenth is the 19th. However, we're going to celebrate it on the 18th so that we can have a good collaboration of our citizens. It's a hit this year on a Sunday, and we decided to have it on a Saturday so we could have all of the church interaction, our community interaction, and vendors. The vendor form is already ready. It's been sent to the city and ready to go out to the vendors already. We've been getting great response from our vendors. I think we had about 28 registered for this last event. 27 registered for this last event. I need to say the reconstruction of the city of Pahokee and the way that we are operating now is amazing. Thank you. Thank you to those who are working hard to move our city forward. For whatever position you've been hired to do, whatever position you volunteer in, whatever event you attend, thank you for your support. And this Centennial team stands waiting to volunteer. Please note that they are all volunteers. Please note they give many hours of service. Please note that they do not give privileges to family members or anybody else. Anyone can apply to be a vendor out in the events, but if they're applying to be a vendor for the city of Pahokee, there is a different process. That process requires, if they are vending for something that's $300 or less, the city has to get 2 bids on that same particular item. If it's 700 or more, it's 3. And we have done that every time. No one on this committee has represented or recommended their own family member or hired their own family member to do anything. It does not exempt their family members from applying if they should want to. And I hope that we make that clear and plain so people that are part of this community are not discouraged by our words when we really are not speaking truth. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to serve the city. Thank you to all the staff at the city has worked extremely hard. I mean, I don't care whether they were Parks and Rec, road work, whatever, they worked so hard, and especially the team at City Hall in helping to make sure that the events truly represent us. Thank you for the additional funding for the city Centennial. Remember, we are the Centennial team, but this Centennial belongs to the city of Pahokee. So thank you so much for loving your citizens, and I'm sure they greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we'll have our commissioner comments, if there are any, and we're going to do the reverse and have Vice Mayor first. We'll work ourselves to my left.
I just want to say, don't forget, this week is Nurses Week. So if you see a nurse, thank a nurse, kiss a nurse, shake their hands, give them a hug. You know, for the past 2 years, because of the coronavirus, nurses have been working very stressful situations. So if you see a nurse, thank a nurse. Also, I just want to piggyback the Centennial I was like, my husband eating food that I didn't know what I was eating at the time, but it was, it was really good. So, and also just to the city on May 12th for the job fair, please come out and support the job fair, see what jobs are being offered. There's plenty of jobs out there. I went to even some KFC, they're starting at $13 an hour. They cannot even open their lobby because they have no one to work on the inside. So there is jobs out there. McDonald's is starting you off almost with $15 an hour. Hey, I'm telling you, jobs are there. So come on out to the job fair. So have a good night. Thank you, City of Pahokee.
Commissioner Perez?
I have no comment.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Bolden?
I'll just say, I think a big part of our success is going to be trust and optimism. We don't trust someone just because. We trust people because they worked hard and spent a lot of hours to master what they do or to become better than us at what they do. So we have to remain optimistic. Let's not anticipate something negative happening. Let's be optimistic about our future. We have a great team of people that have come on board, and they're very knowledgeable and very capable of doing their jobs. So we have to trust them to do just that. Nobody's perfect, but we have